Shipping is vitally important to the global community, playing a key role in sustainable development. The world depends on a safe, secure, and efficient shipping industry, and the shipping industry depends on an adequate supply of seafarers to operate the ships that carry the essential cargoes we all rely on. Shipping is highly technical, demanding considerable skill, knowledge, and expertise from those who work in it. To achieve a truly international industry, shipping needs a global network of specialist education and training establishments to ensure a continuing stream of high-caliber recruits. It's great to have you join us on today's edition of Maritime Update, where we bring to you every week activities in the maritime industry. I am Norma Obiaswalo. Maritime education and training must be of a high and consistent quality throughout the world. They must be skills-based, competence-based, and utilize the latest technology such as stimulators reflecting modern ships and up-to-date bridge layouts. But maritime education and training are not just for seafarers. Maritime education needs broad coverage. Naval architecture, marine engineering, marine law, and many other fields all require specialist training. To achieve a sustainable development in the nation's maritime industry, training and education must be given its rightful place. The 1978 International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification and Watchkeeping for Seafarers has set the international benchmark for seafaring training and education. In this episode, we'll be focusing on the contributions of the master mariners to the nation's maritime industry. First, let's look at the issues and developments that made news in the maritime industry. Stay with us. Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria suspends proposed nationwide strike over dilapidated port roads. Navigational aids installed on Nigerian waterways to aid night sailing. 11 seafarers handed 12-year sentencing for illegal bunkering. And now to the main stories. The Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, MWUN, has suspended its proposed strike over the duration of the Oshodi-Apapa Expressway following the announcement of 72.9 billion naira reconstruction of the road. The union had earlier on issued a 21-day ultimatum to the federal government to fix the roads, or it will embark on a strike, as they urged the government to prioritize the Tinkan-Bega Expressway because of its level of deterioration and advised that the alternative routes be prepared to prevent further gridlock during the construction. Comrade Adewale Adeyanju, President General of the union, also commended the government for approving the reconstruction of the road before the expiration of its ultimatum. This is the first full reconstruction of the road since its creation in 1975. The Minister of Works, Power and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, said the decision was taken to provide a long-term solution to the road, which has suffered much gridlock in recent times. The revamped road will have 10 lanes and stretch a total of 270.8 kilometers, including the rehabilitation of drainages, bridges, and interchanges. The National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, has commenced the installation of navigational aids on the nation's waterways to aid sailing at night. The acting managing director of NIWA, Danladi Ibrahim, said installation started from Baru to Lokoja and would cover all the waterways of the country. Ibrahim warned that the sailing at night will be restricted on channels without navigational aids to avoid boat mishaps, and stated that the country official transportation code is set to be published as a guide to the nation's waterways, adding that ferry operators who violate the code will be punished according to the law. The impending transportation code is expected to enhance efficiency, curb insecurity, improve patronage, and encourage competitiveness in the sector. A Lagos Federal High Court has convicted 11 seafarers and their vessel MVPs for conspiracy and unlawful dealing in 200 metric tons of petroleum products. Justice Muhammad Idris pronounced the vessel and its crew guilty of the 3-count charge brought against them by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and sentenced the vessel crew to 12 years imprisonment without jail terms to run concurrently. Department of Petroleum Resources (DPR) analyzed samples and confirmed the product conformed to automated gas oil (AGO), and the accused failed to produce a genuine license from the DPR authorizing them to deal in the product found on board the vessel. Despite pleas from the defense attorney, Justice Muhammad Idris refused to give the convict a suspended sentence, stating that the illegal bunkering is a rampant crime that can cripple the economy and ordered the vessel and recovered petroleum product be fortified to the federal government of Nigeria. And that's Maritime News. Maritime updates continue shortly. Stay with us.
Welcome to Port Support Services, otherwise called the PSSP. The PSSP, as it is popularly known, is an initiative of the Nigerian Shippers Council created to serve the public better. Just to help you navigate the portal, first log on to the website www.pssp.ng. There you'll find the basic information about PSSP, information on partners of the project standard operating procedure of the partners of the PSSP, and frequently asked questions, contact information. With the PSSP of the Nigerian Shippers Council, members of the public will be able to make complaints using the complaint form, track the status of the complaint, and make inquiries or give a feedback using the contact form. To submit a complaint, open your web browser and type www.pssp.ng. The home page will load. Click on the Make a Complaint. The login page will display, but you will need to be registered on the portal to be able to submit a complaint. If it's the first time of submitting a complaint, click on either the Register button or the Register link. To register, you will need to apply your email address, display name and password. After completing these fields, you should click on the Register button. If you have previously created an account, simply log in by supplying your email address and password. After you have successfully logged in, you should see the complaint form. The system assumes you are the main complainant. The complaint form has 5 sections: complaint details, service provider details, event or service description, other details, complaint description. In addition, you will find a yes and a no button, and this is how it works. Using the yes or no button indicates you are complaining on behalf of a company. If you're complaining on behalf of someone, you have to give us their details by clicking on the Add Detail button, then click on the Next button. From the pop-up list, select the type of company your complaint is about from the agency list and select the company from the companies list.
If you have just joined us, this is Maritime Update reaching you courtesy of the Nigerian Shippers Council. For details, please reach the Nigerian Shippers Council on our email, website, or better still, text the number showing on your screen. We want to make this program more interactive, so from next week, we will be reading out emails live on air. So please send your comments, complaints, observations to maritimeupdate@yahoo.com. We implore you to keep it civil so we can read them. Now to the guest of the week. He is Tajuddin Alao. He is the President, Nigerian Association of Master Mariners (NAM). In this chart, he emphasized the importance of funding, structure, personnel, and infrastructure in the nation's maritime institutions, which he said will aid maritime development. Stay with us. What are the contributions that you have spearheaded as the president of your association that is geared towards the development of the maritime sector?
Thank you very much. Since I came on board, I've tried to restructure, reinvent our thinking and our approach to the industry. I've encouraged membership and participation of all workshops and conferences that has taken place. In the past, we rely on sponsorship, but now we are taking the bull by the horn and doing it ourselves. Recently, government have the reposition of Manoron, Interim Management Committee. Our members participated, and on the sideline, we are also engaging in MOU in collaboration with our sister association, Marine Engineers, in encouraging mariners to lecture at the academy. We are talking to the rector on the remuneration on part-time, on full-time, and on one-on-one. Because we knew that when you have an infrastructure without the right people to lecture, this is an international certification, and we want to market our seafarers outside Nigeria. So we cannot do with people with basic qualification in Nigeria. We need people with international exposure to assist in the lecturing.
You mentioned building human capacity, which is part of what you've been able to spearhead as the president of your association. How exactly can we build human capacity development in the maritime sector?
Look, this thing is governed by international convention, and there is a convention, STCVR standard of certification and watchkeeping. Everything is according to international. Unfortunately, we were using 1962. When the 1968 came on, 78 we did not catch up. Then 95 we started running El Casqueta. Now we have 1995 as amended up to 2010, but the infrastructure has not been in place. We've been echoing on this. We are members of a National Board of Technical Education in assessing facilities at honor. We are drawing the attention that the quality of cadets, you see, the honor is there. The structures on the ground do not meet international standard. I.e., you have 800 students to one class. You don't have the qualified lecturer. You have people with social science background lecturing in navigation. So we're trying to correct that. The requirement is clear. Who is qualified to lecture? Because what they have, diploma and HND in honor, is different from international certification to drive a ship license. So we are trying to encourage our members to sacrifice time to lecture at the academy.
Training is very important to the development of the maritime sector. You've mentioned several challenges that has hampered these trainings, which included infrastructure. Aside from these challenges you've noted, what moves, what steps have your association taken to curb these challenges and make sure that structure is in place to ensure that quality training is gotten in this maritime sector?
I've mentioned about two things now. The infrastructure to put in place, to offer.
Yes.
And it's the infrastructure that can make Nigeria to be on.
So what steps are we going to take to ensure that this infrastructure is put in place? Whose responsibility is it? What should be done? So we need to move away from noting these challenges and way forward, because training must be done.
Our job is to point out.
Okay.
Our job is to point out.
So what
we have written.
Okay.
We have written to them, because thank God we are part of the assessor going to the school through Board of Technical Education and as examiner. You understand? And what you don't have, you cannot give. So we have seen that those things were not there. But more importantly, the lecturers, you need to attract the qualified and competent lecturers to be able to do that. If you don't have them, you can lecture people under this roof if you have qualified people. And then they will tell you, this should be there, it's not there, but this is the little you are managing. But honor has nothing, neither the qualified people and the infrastructure. And because the infrastructure is money, they are putting emphasis on that because they want to award contracts. But what about the personnel? The training of those personnel that we teach. Because when you identify, you bring them, you must also teach them. You understand what I'm telling you now? So these are the things we are trying to say. You can bring me there. Am I current with the new requirements? If they don't train me, if they don't send me on course, if I don't read journals like this, they make it available, I'm using my money to do it. So, and what I don't have, I cannot give to those people.
Okay, moving away from training and looking to the industry, what strategic plans do you think can reposition the Nigerian maritime sector for greater efficiency?
Thank you very much. Government must provide the conducive environment. Government must offer incentives. Government must support. The essence of NMA or NIMASA, that is the essence of NMA. The government is going far away from the original intention of setting up Nigerian Maritime Authority and NIMASA. Government is seeing it as an agency of government, whereas it's not so. It is the people. If the law is too strict, the ship owners cannot afford to meet up. And if the law is too loose, there will be accidents. So there must be collaboration. We call it partnership, where you say, look, this is what should be there. This is what we can offer you. The government is not offering anything. That is the way we, from Master Mariners, see. The government must put, look, the access road is not
That's huge if you say government is not offering anything.
Where is the access road in 5-6 years, Apapa? 10 years, this Apapa access road. In 10 years, a serious nation should be able to take care of this in 6-8 months. Let me say, even this regime has been there for 3 years. From day one, they've been telling the ministry that, look, the road is not good. The trucks cannot move in. So, and what is the effect? Ships are anchored outside, bunching, congestion. You know what I'm telling you now? So, and you also go further. You can bring the ship in and out 24/7. Can you evacuate the cargo 24/7? So, it's not individual. It's not the ship owners. It's beyond them. So, it is the government responsibility that should, from mile 2 to Apapa, from Apapa Wharf to Ijora. Because to me, from Costain to mile 2 is within the port axis. It is the responsibility of the government to ensure that this is done.
They are working on the roads now.
For how long? For how long? A serious nation should be able to do this in 8-9 months. Okay. A serious nation should be able to do it 8 or 9. Because Nigeria, our economy depends on this. Lagos State should cry because it's making so much money. The federal government should cry. But the money is being made, and the government is making the money, and the multiplier effect is not on the people, on the economy. Okay,
so if the sector is properly managed, potential what will you place on the industry?
It's too enormous. It's too enormous. Singapore has no oil. Singapore has no mineral resources. Singapore was an entrepreneur, a small port in 78, 79, 80, 81. Today, Singapore is one of the leading ports in the world. It's on the maritime industries.
So if you are to advise the government, what steps do you think they should take to tap the enormous resources in the sector? 1, 2, 3, what steps?
Transport infrastructure is number 1. Connect Apapa and Tinka. Create a bay for all these trucks that are messing from a satellite town up to, I don't know where now, Pangrove. Create a bay for them to move them. Number 3, provide handling facilities. There are too many rickety trucks coming in. Till tomorrow, they are still there. Even if they move them away, when they come in here, if they are rickety, they will still give us the same results. You know? So, in this handling bay, you must provide infrastructure to identify trucks that cannot move out on the road. It's not that they will move, they will arrest them in Ajegunle or Ijora. They must not move out of that place to come into Apapa to lift cargo.
Okay, moving away from that and looking at the dumped wrecked ships on our waterways, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, we have been on this wreckage, wreck, is the easiest solution, is the easiest thing to handle. Why? Ships don't become a wreck overnight. It is a deliberate attempt. The ships are abandoned. And before they become abandoned, they are not managed. Water leaking to them. So, do we have holding bay for ships? What we call safe haven. Do we have? We don't have. That is for Nigerian flagships. When your ship is not engaged, they are littered all over the place. There must be a place where government will provide where those ships can be laid up. And the minimum manning who should be on board to keep the ship. In Singapore, if a foreign ship comes, no master, they will put a Singaporean. It's in their law. A ship must be manned. If you abandon a car on the road, I don't know this day whether they will not throw it away. So the same thing with the ship.
So what should be done now to curb it or to stop this menace?
We say there must be insurance for wreckage.
Okay.
For wreck. So that when the ship is becomes a wreck, the insurance company will take responsibility. So Maritime Environment Unit of the NIMASA must inform. The safety department must identify any ship that is likely to become a wreck, and the marine environment must take over. And maybe there will be subsidiary legislation where the MPA will be mandated that you must report to the master. The ship owner, master, and operators are required to report, but they don't report. So, hold the MPA responsible, because these ships don't just land on their own. That you must inform the master, then the master must now take action on individual ship.
Moving on to safety on our waterways, you mentioned earlier what your association is doing, talking to boat owners and all that. So what about armed robbery, piracy on our waterways? What is your association doing, or what solutions will you profile on how we can ensure safety on our waterways?
Safety is different from security. Safety is when it comes to the seaworthiness of the ship, good navigation, and the competent people manning the ship. But security is prevention of attack from outside people to come and attack either the cargo, to steal the cargo, either to attack the crew. That is the security from that aspect. I was reading one document, the Indian waters, $1.4 billion annually to provide security in Indian waters. So there must be political will to say our waters must be safe.
So if you say what government is doing concerning security is not enough, so what will you say? What will
they must provide platform for the Navy. Okay. The master can only identify. They are not armed. MOU with the Navy does not give order for the boat to go out.
So what should be done now to ensure
they must provide smaller platforms to intervention boats, the Navy, for the Navy.
Okay.
And let the Navy go into the water. That is the solution.
So these recommendations, have your association passed these recommendations
we have done
to the relevant agencies?
Yes, we have done this in several fora. We have presented papers. We have done that. Recently, I think we wrote to some agencies that we want to do this, do that, but we have not got because money. Because part of our mandate is to promote, to encourage, to collaborate. But we need sponsorship.
That will be a fine place to end this interview. I must thank you most kindly. It's been Captain Tajuddin Alao. He is the President, Nigerian Association of the Master Mariners. Many thanks for coming on Maritime Update.
Thank you, madam.
As I said earlier on the program, we want to make this program more interactive. So from next week, we'll be reading out your emails live on air So please send your comments, complaints, observations to maritimeupdate@yahoo.com. We implore you to keep it civil so we can read them. And that's our package on this week's edition of Maritime Update. Many thanks for being such a great company. Please remember to send your comments, complaints, and observations to our email or the number showing on your screen. This show promises to bring you yet another exciting package next week. For more details, you can contact the Nigerian Shippers Council on our website or text the number on your screen. You can also view this episode or any of our previous episodes on our YouTube channel, Maritime Update. When you visit, please subscribe and also click the notification button. I am Norma Obiaswalo. Until I come your way again, same time next week, it's goodbye.